Yes, guys, welcome to today's training. So, today I want to share something with you that I do believe will change a lot of lives, and it's something that has been stimulated from a recurring theme in 95% of what 95% of you have said at certain points across the last 6 months. I know a lot of you guys always say, oh my God, you did that training and I felt like you were talking to me. Well, the truth is I am, because I pay attention, which is what we're going to come on to. So again, a certain person in the past, not a client now, so it doesn't really matter, has also said, I felt attacked in that mindset training because it was like you were targeting it at me, which again, I am, because I read all of your comments, all of your check-ins, everything that you say, and this is where the trainings come from. You know, I don't just pluck something out of thin air and present it on a Monday morning. So, you know, if you guys feel that it's written for you, it is because it's based on the feedback that you guys give me. So what I want everyone to come away from today realizing is that you don't have to live a life with any limitations. But most of you are, and this is coming from negative thoughts, which is what I'm going to come on to. When we start saying wishy-washy things like, well, you know, maybe one day, or, you know, we'll see how it goes, or the worst angle to that is, you know, I'd love that, but I could never have a body like that. You know, I'd love to have a life like that, but, you know, that would never happen. Like, that doesn't happen to people like me. Fucking bollocks, right? Absolute bullshit, victim mentality. Just stop it now, right? I told you I was going hard today. That is basically you're saying, I don't really want to do the work, so I'm going to keep telling this story about how I can never have that, so I won't even try. Just drop that. You shouldn't be here with that attitude, right? Your current set of circumstances and your current situations and your current beliefs do not define your life. Your thoughts are not reality, and reality isn't your thoughts. They are just your thoughts. But your thoughts will create your reality. That is one hell of a tongue twister. Reality is not your thoughts, and your thoughts are not reality, but your thoughts will create your reality. Write that down. So this may be one day attitude. Just drop it, because the truth is, every single one of you can have any body, any business, any life, any relationship, any holiday, any car, anything that you want, because you have the power to achieve all of that. But it's not about the next best diet plan, the next best training plan. I think I'm ready for a new ex. Me and Nat had a really interesting conversation yesterday, actually. She's been on the same training plan for the last 9 years. And she's got the best body in this group. I've been on the same training plan for 12 to 13 years on and off. And I've got the second best body in this group. We'll debate it later. But we don't change the training plan every 8 weeks because we're bored. We don't change the diet plan every 8 weeks because we're bored. We don't change the business plan, the vision, the dreams and the desires, right? Success is fucking boring, remember that. Write that down as well. Success isn't meant to be sexy. It can be when you get there, but results come from the correct things done repetitively over time. Repetition is the master of all skill. You know, so it's this thing that we need to delay, and next week's training is going to be on delaying the instant need for gratification. Because the reality is most people in life try something for 4 to 6 weeks, and when they don't get what they want, they try something new, or they think something's not working, or they look for something that's going to get them there quicker, and it just destroys life until the end of time. So you don't, 95% of my business clients, right? I teach them absolutely fucking nothing about business. Because they don't have a business problem. They have a belief problem. They have a them problem. They have a behavior problem. And it's the same with nutrition, and it's the same with training. Most of you know what to eat and you know how to train. It's not that you don't know what to do, it's just that you're not doing what you know. And that's the same as not knowing at all. Jesus wept, I am off with the tongue twisters today. You don't have an information problem, you have an implementation problem. And because you're not implementing at the level you should be to get the results you want, you start looking for some new information. Usually some information that someone will convince you that you can buy this information and get there quicker. And every time you try that, the universe will give you a quick in the face that the world doesn't work that way, because life is a contribution-based experience. Nothing quick and easy, nothing worth having will ever be quick and easy. So it all starts with your mind. This is why you guys know this coaching plan is so different. Nutrition and training is easy. And that's coming from a coach, right? Yes, there are certain things we need to know, principles, intensities, strategy, calories, macros, tracking, all that type of stuff. But essentially, it's not the first thing. The first thing is getting your mind in the right place. Now, again, listen to this very carefully. When I say the mind, I mean your thoughts. That's what I want you to write down and remember on this training. Your mind is essentially your thoughts. And what you think about, you become. What you think about, you believe. What you think about leads to how you behave. And what you think about becomes your personal reality. So, controlling our thoughts is the number one key to success. And that's what we have to realize we can do. But if you've been thinking a certain way for a long time, it's not easy, guys, right? When I'm saying this, I'm not coming across from a preachy, just do this, guys, and it's easy, and we'll all be like Richard Branson and Arnold Schwarzenegger within 6 weeks. This stuff is not easy. It's hard, but you need to understand that you can control your thoughts. And if you don't learn to control your thoughts will control you. Because thoughts lead to beliefs. Any habit, actually, I studied some new research last week. Any habit actually takes, they reckon now, 66 consecutive days. Not 30, as people have always said. That's just a random number that people pick because it's a month. 66 consecutive days for something to be a habit. Most people don't last that long. So 66 days of tracking food, and you'll probably do it without thinking about it. 66 days of going to the gym and working on your mind, and you'll probably do it without thinking about it. Every time you do 6 days and then have 4 days off because you feel like you didn't get what you deserved from the 6 days, you're going to start again. So consistency is key. But thoughts lead to beliefs, beliefs lead to your behavior, and your behavior is what will create your personality or life. How you behave is the reflection of the life that you have. This is why I did the post last week, and it triggered the hell out of a load of people. Nobody hates their body. They hate the fact that it's a reflection of their weak-ass decisions. Nobody hates their bank account or their life. They hate the fact that it's a reflection of their weak-ass decisions because they chose the pub over learning. They chose McDonald's over the gym time and time and time and time again. Okay, they made the easy decision. They took the easy route. They didn't have the discipline. Route sounded American then. So here is a great analogy, right? To understand vision and thoughts and how two people can be so different, right? Have you ever seen a person who skis down moguls in between trees? And you watch them and you just think, how has he got the confidence to do that? How is he not hitting any trees? How is he just going through all of that? And I'll tell you 100% how, because if you ask that guy what he sees, he doesn't see the trees. All he sees is the gaps. It'll be the same with footballers. Johnny Wilkinson won't ever have seen that drop kick going left or right. He will only have seen it going through the centre of the posts. And guess what happened? It did. Footballers that score penalties will only see themselves scoring that penalty. The ones that have 25% doubt, fuck, am I going to miss this? Shit, I'm under pressure. What if Oh, fuck, spooned it over the bar. Like, what you see will lead to the decisions. And again, another great analogy. The person who sees the trees will probably hit the third tree. Right? And this is the same with life. We either see the thing that we want and we go for it, or we see the obstacles and the challenges. That comes from your thoughts. So do you see what you want every day, or do you see the challenges, the obstacles, the hard work, the pain, the discipline, the sacrifice? Oh, I can't be bothered doing that. It comes down to what you see. Again, some people will queue for hours to get I don't know what's an example, a ticket for an event. And they're just going to wait there until they get the ticket, because all they see is the ticket, they want the ticket, and they're going to do whatever they want to get the ticket. Other people will see the queue, the obstacles, the challenge. And after 10 minutes, they'll go, fuck that, I didn't want the ticket anyway. I'm not queuing in that. All they see is the queue. So it's what we see and what we think about, right? So everything that you or I want is sat there waiting for you. You can have any body you want. You can have any business you want. You can have any amount of money that you want. You can have any relationship, any life, any car. I remind you that Colonel Sanders started KFC broke as fuck at 69 years old. 69 years old. I don't think there's anyone here who's older than 69. Which also happens to be my favourite number. We can't go a full life without an inappropriate joke. So, how do we make this reality? Okay? How do we channel this? How do we take this information that I'm giving you and run forward with it today? Well, it comes from controlling your thoughts and controlling your fears, but also transformation is not a spectator sport. It's not a listening game. You can't listen to this and then just go, brilliant, yes Lee, come on, let's go, and then go back to doing what you've always done. You have to take massive action, but being inspired to take the massive action will come from your thoughts. I don't meditate every single day and see that villa and Logan splashing around in the pool and me living my dream life because I'm some kind of woo-woo person. I'm becoming familiar with my future because I can be inspired and pulled by a vision of my future, or I can be shackled by memories of the past. Yeah, but I tried that in the past, that didn't work. That's a decision every morning, right? And this meditation angle of meditation means to become familiar with, right? And whether that's just the body or something to take the action, but what people don't realize, it's actually just about making yourself feel inspired enough to take the action. Does that make sense? So it's not about actually getting the thing or any of those types of things, or, you know, being the material thing or the outcome or the goal. It's about believing you can have what you want on a level that you feel constantly inspired to take the action. So if you don't believe you can ever have the body, or if you don't believe you can ever squat 100 kg, you're never going to be inspired enough to try, because you don't believe you can get the thing. So why would you? It would almost be like this would be an incredible analogy, right? Would you show up to work and do your job next week if you thought there was a chance that your boss was going to get to the end of the week and say, sorry, Sarah Jane and Jackie, no pay this week? You'd go, fuck that, I'm not doing that. I'm not going in and doing a 50-hour week and then you get to tell me whether or not I'm going to get paid at the end of the week. You know you're going to get paid. So what do? You do the work. You show up, you're there on time, you do what you're told. It's the same with the discipline, with your body and your nutrition. If you don't believe you're going to get that body, you're never going to do the work. I just made that analogy up and it's probably actually one of the best ones I've ever thought of. You wouldn't go to work if you didn't know you were going to get paid. So if you don't believe you're going to get the physique, you're probably never going to go to the gym or make the right food choices. And guess what? If you say things like, I could never have that body, I could never have that life, this is never going to happen to someone like me, guess what? It never will. And it's not about having it, it's about you'll never be inspired to do the work because you don't believe you can have it. Am I making sense? So if we reframe from I could never to I won't stop until I do, How different does that sound? One simple reframe. I'm not going to stop until I get that body. I'm not going to stop until I have the life that I want. And if I die trying, so be it. Because guess what? I'm not in control of the outcome. I'm in control of what I think and the level that I show up to each day. I'm not in control of whether I will actually live in that villa. But I'm in control of whether I do the work to put myself in the best possible position to make that a reality. So today, what I want you to do is, right, mediocre goals, mediocre effort. Set big fucking goals. Philip Stokes has set big goals. Huge goals. Exciting goals. Goals that are going to make him want to get out of bed and run towards them. Not everyone has to do that. It's your journey. But when we play small and we set small goals and we set goals that we know how to achieve, goals that probably require us to perform at 60 to 70% and a mediocre effort, then we probably again won't be inspired to do the work. I always say this, if you know how to achieve what it is you want to achieve, then it's probably not big enough to keep getting you out of bed in the morning. You'll get bored and you'll get distracted and then you'll go back to toxic habits. Or it could even be like, some people say this to me, like some people say this when they come on the first call, right? I just want to get back to where I was. Screw that. I want to get you fucking 20 miles past where you were. Why is that going to be exciting? I just want to get back to where I was. Ooh, it's not exciting. Like, your goals need to fucking get you excited, right? If they're not exciting, then you're probably not going to do the work. If they're easy to do them and you know how to achieve it, you're probably not going to be inspired. Okay? So, as I said, you can be, have, do, achieve anything you want. And here's the secret sauce. You have to take control of your thoughts. And it's not easy. It takes time, discipline, and training. And every single person who does a check-in next and says, I'm just feeling like this about the results that I don't have with the work that I didn't do in the 3.5 days that I've been working at it, it's just going to get sent this video time and time again. Because I'm tired of it. Okay? We have to understand that we need to show up relentlessly. It's the journey, not the destination. It's the process, not the prize. Success is boring. It's the sum of small things done well over time. So if you don't take control of your thoughts today, you're always going to stay stuck. And I'm a little bit tired of some of the check-ins. I'm always authentic and honest with you guys, right? If I keep hearing, I feel like I should be further along. I feel like X, Y, and Z. I feel down because of X, Y, and Z. You're creating your own misery. I feel frustrated because of X, Y, and Z. I feel anxious because of X, Y, and Z. You're crippling your own fucking life. And you're going to stay stuck forever. And I mean this with love and empathy. But you have to change your thought process. You're creating your own anxiety, depression, anger, and frustration with your thoughts. I feel like I should be further along and have more results with the work that I've done. Well, guess what? No. Bullshit. Work harder, work longer. It's the harsh truth, right? You are where you are based on the work that you've done. If you don't like where you are, knuckle down and work harder. Case closed. So, if we don't, and we'll always stay stuck, we'll be left with that horrible feeling of regret. I actually wrote a really deep post on this today, like 2 angles, right? Like, I can't think of anything worse than being on my deathbed and like looking back over my life with a 30,000 degree view and thinking, oh, Lee, what if you just have done that? What if you'd worked harder? What if you'd showed up? What if you'd stopped making excuses? By the way, guys, I've been doing everything that I'm talking about in the last 3 months. I've gone into a real negative hole where I believed I should be a lot further on than this year based on the work that I've done. Bullshit. I need to show up harder. I need to work longer. It's a lie I was telling myself to make myself feel better. And then I even started to look at, guess what? We all do this, don't we? Whose fault can I make it? Maybe it's my mentor's fault. Maybe I'm not getting the support that I need. Maybe the knowledge isn't good. Who can I blame to make myself feel better about the fact that I actually spent 10 fucking hours watching Netflix last week when I could have been working on my business? So wherever you're at, I get it, I do it. That's what I'm saying, okay? But imagine one looking back, and then I wrote an even like more, sounds a bit morbid, right? I don't know if you guys saw the post I wrote about my granddad this week, Steve. I know you wrote it. So I then I read it. I then journaled this myself, right? So I wrote that thing about my granddad. He's like the most authentic man, the only man, right? Like I said in that post, that walked past a cash machine. There's £200 hanging out the cash machine. He took the money out and he went into the bank and he says, I've just found this hanging out the cash machine. Didn't even get a letter. My nan was like fuming. She was like, I can't believe they didn't even send you a fucking bottle of wine. Well, she didn't say fucking because she didn't swear. But, I can't believe they didn't even do anything. They just went, oh yeah, cheers. But like honesty, integrity, hard, fairness, like everything I said in that post. And then I journaled that out. I'm like, I want to move towards a level where like that's my son saying that about me when I'm been dead and under for however many years. And I thought that's a great inspiration. That is like, be the person that you want people to talk about long after you've gone. And I was thinking, God, imagine long well, yeah, dad didn't really show up and he kind of made excuses and, he tried. It's like, no, I want to figure out, right, how do I want other people to view me and talk about me? What standards do I want to set for myself and others? And if we don't get a handle sometimes on these negative thoughts and negative thinking, then we will end up just becoming a person that we don't want to be. And we'll end up living with regret. So, clap. That stops now. And we're going to switch this. So, I want to teach you in the next 30 minutes how to break free from any negative thinking, how to break free from any self-doubt, and how to break free from self-limiting beliefs. Because negative thoughts are essentially limiting beliefs. They started as a thought, and then they became a limiting belief, and then they became a behavior. So, when you can own your thoughts, you will own your life. And this comes from awareness. So, I would say if I asked everyone a question now, are you aware of what you've been thinking about since 6 a.m. this morning? Have you been controlling it? Did you get up and think, what am I thinking about? Right, okay, this is why there's a question on the planner. How do I feel physically? How do I feel mentally? What can I do to change that state? Going back and watching the training on energy and state, if you struggle first thing in the morning, is a great one. But we need to handle our thoughts, destroy negativity, and destroy excuses. But most people, right, aren't even aware of how they're thinking or how they're acting. I actually have a bit of a laugh with this in society and with my friends and my groups. So many guys, right, and it is more guys than ladies. Hey buddy, how you doing? Just busy, mate. Just busy. Like, so the second they get out of bed without even completing a planner, okay, and they go like, I'm busy. I'm the busiest man in the world. I'm busier than everyone else. I'm the only person that has a fucking job and kids. Right? And that sets the tone for their day. So as soon as they've got up, they've thought, right, I'm a busy as idiot. I've got too much on. I'm busier than everyone else. I'm stressed. I never get any time off work. I've got so much to do. It's like, whoa, crippling from the second you get out of bed. Stress, anxiety, frustration, worry. So we need to become aware, and then we need to destroy anything that's holding us back. Because if your repetitive thought is just constantly about how busy you are, well, that's not a successful thought. That's a stressful thought. Okay? So if we learn to destroy these negative thoughts, that's when we'll move forward. because negative thinking is actually your worst enemy. And you have to somehow become aware. The key to this and the secret sauce, right? We all think negatively. It is never, ever, ever going to stop. You cannot have positive thoughts without negative thoughts. You cannot have love without hate. You cannot have courage without fear. You cannot have happy without sad. They're all seasons, right? But it's becoming aware of when you're thinking about them, because this is what I'm going to come on to. Because what happens is so many people have one negative thought and then they just allow it to fester all day. Every single person here will have done that. You've got up, something's happened, maybe a situation, a circumstance, someone said something, someone's read something, something's happened, and it just sets the tone for your whole day. You can't think about anything else. Stressed, anxious, frustrated, worried, scarcity mindset, stuck in the past, and it destroys your day. So when we can destroy these excuses and we can destroy these negative thoughts, and this is the important bit, it's the speed at which we can destroy them that's the difference. Anyone can do it. We all come out of those holes. You know, we change our environment, we go for the run, we go to the gym, we block the thought out, we destroy the negativity. But the key to success is the speed at which we can do it. Because this is the one phrase I want you to write down today. Your thoughts shape your reality. Your thoughts shape your reality. Whatever you think about shapes your reality. And this is why I say to people all of the time, if you're struggling with anything in life, fat loss, muscle building, business, your relationship, intimate relationships, relationship with your kids, relationships with your employees or employer, there's only one place you need to go and look, and that's in the mirror. Because your outer world will always follow your inner world. So many relationships are in a horrible, horrible place because one person's kind of removed a little bit of positivity, maybe a little bit of love, maybe a little bit of affection, and then the other person does the same thing, and then they just drift further and further and further apart. Okay? Whereas, you know, in an intimate relationship, if you don't feel you're getting enough love and enough attention and enough affection, go and look in the mirror and start giving it. And watch it come back to you. Because we're all mirrors. We'll always reflect. This happens in businesses. If you're the big CEO boss and the first thing you do is kick through the fucking office door, fucking stressed because fucking Jane in accounts not done her work, and then you slam your off in a wall and you've got to really like, your team's not really on fire. Well, I'm not surprised. You know, they're mirroring you. Bosses that go into, they run, you know, got a whole team of employees and they just constantly take junk food in and caffeinate them all day long. And, you know, again, creating a reflection of this is how we operate within this company. We all shout at each other. We all get stressed, you know. So whether it's any form of relationship, you will always be a reflection of your own energy. So again, if an employer walks in and he's happy and he's smiling and he asks everyone how their weekend's been and then he makes sure everyone's all right. And, you know, again, the employees will, you know, mirror that energy of the person. So back to the thoughts. So what you think about consistently, again, parenting. Mardy, low confident, snappy, shouty, chavvy little kids in the supermarket. Look at the parents, okay? Screaming at the kids for the way they behave. Well, the kids are screaming because they're mirroring you because you're screaming at them. You'll see this more and more if you look around life now. Everything is mirrors, right? So what you consistently think about, you become. And your outer world will always reflect your inner world. So if you've got chaos in your head, you're going to have chaos in your life 100% of the time. But what we try to do as humans, we try and fix everything in the outer world or find blame, justification or anything else, when if we could just fix what's in here. Like I said, 95% of business owners I work with don't have a business problem. They have a them problem. They have an energy problem. They have a thought problem. They have a belief problem. And when you fix yourself, everything in life tends to fix as well. So our thoughts are like magnetic fields. And I firmly believe this, right? This is why positive, happy, driven people, with all due respect, don't want to hang around with fucking negative losers because they can't be asked. They don't want that energy. They actually avoid them. Like anyone who's worked in a business, you'll all know this, that one person that no one really even wants to fucking ask her how she is because they know exactly what's coming back. You'll all have one of those friends that you're like, I'm not even going to text her and ask her how she is because I know absolute drama is coming back 100 times out of 100. And again, these people hang around with each other and reflect. They're the people that all sit at the bottom of the tree having a fucking pity party about COVID and the cost of living and how the world's never going to be the same and good things never happen to people like them and all rich people are evil and fucking the NHS and the government and fucking Keir, whatever his name is. You know, just drama, feeding off it. And again, it works the other way. People who want to just talk about business, life, fitness, goals, dreams, aspirations, they bounce off other people. You know this when you walk into a room. You know when you walk into a room of winners with positive energy, right? And you know when you walk into a room of people who just want to moan, blame, complain and justify. But all this comes from the thoughts of those two groups of people. So be the energy that you want to attract. Be the change you want to see in the world. Stop moaning about what you're not getting from your partner and start giving it to her without expectation of getting it back and watch it flow back. Because we're all magnetic. They're magnetic forces. We pull in the energy of the people that we're giving out. Okay? And the opportunities and the vibe and the happiness. Because we have to understand that, I've said this so many times, it's one of my favorite phrases, life doesn't happen to you. Okay? Life happens for you. It's always teaching you something if you're aware enough. There's lessons and gifts everywhere, but it's all based on your thoughts. And you can't think positively all the time, guys. Anyone who thinks that that's the way life should be, they're clueless. You can't never moan, blame, complain, justify. You can't never have a bad day when you kick off about something before thinking, wow, okay, that wasn't the greatest response of my life. But it's about constantly refining it, because I love this phrase, which I wrote down this morning. Your thoughts are the seeds of your life. So if you plant negativity, you're going to harvest a field of negativity. If you plant positivity, you're going to harvest a field of positivity, or self-belief, or confidence, or love. If you want more love, give more love. I tell Logan I love him about 200 times a day. And guess what? Every time he tells me back. Like, whatever you want, give it, but give it without expectation. Because whatever you give out will harvest the field of your life. And when you do it on such a level, and when you really understand that your life is a reflection of your thinking, that is when you will understand, that's when you start to attract everything that you want. Rather than this angry of chasing what I don't have. That's a massive trap that I fell into for years. Chasing money, chasing success, rather than just, what do I need to do to grow and contribute? You know, when you find something that you're inspired by and you're driven and you're focused and you're fired up, you tend to attract success. If you chase it based on what you don't have, then you'll just repel it. This is why when you, again, you'll all have had this person in a relationship, this needy person, right? When, you know, you meet them and all of a sudden they're like, you can tell, you're like, whoa, calm down, because, you know, they're chasing something rather than going, no, I'm just here. I'm just giving out the energy I want to attract, and you come to me or you don't, that's cool. I'm cool either way. So it will always be a reflection of what we're giving out. So very often, if we're just in this angry chasing thing, based on what we don't have, the thing will run away. If we're attracting based on the magnetic fields that we want to come back to us, then we attract it. So again, be the person that you want to attract. Be the energy that you want to attract. Be the success that you want to attract. But as I said, if life isn't where you want it, life isn't where any of us want it to be, the only place we need to look is in the mirror. Now, What we need to understand, and this will be, if you're struggling, and you guys know I've struggled in the past, this is kind of hard to understand and it feels impossible to start with, okay? Our thoughts aren't random. They're controlled. We control what we think about, but we have to train ourselves like a naughty dog, right? But you can't just teach your naughty dog to sit and be good on Monday because it's Monday and you're fired up, and then leave him shitting on the carpet until Thursday and then get angry at him when he keeps crapping on the carpet. It's like, well, you're not told me not to crap on the carpet for the last 3 days. You only told me on Monday. Like, you have to train the dog over. How long do you have to train a puppy before until it does what you want? How often does a child try and walk and fall over? And two angles to that. It doesn't try for 4 weeks and then go, fuck this walking shit. I've tried it 4 times. I've even been trying to use the couch. I still can't do it. Walking's not for me. I'm not good enough to walk. I'm never going to be able to walk. Just keeps doing it and 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 doing it. So it just does it without even thinking about it. Same way you get in your car and just drive to work. You don't even think about putting your shoes on, putting the key ignition. Any of those things. You just do it. Because it's been a thought that's created a habit. I want to learn to drive a car because it opens this, so I'm going to try. Exactly the same with walking. So these thoughts aren't random. We control them, but we need to train ourselves like the naughty dog, because that's what your mind is. It will create what I call ants, which are automatic negative thoughts. Nobody loves me. I'm not good enough. Some of it will be coming from unhealed childhood trauma from as early as 4 years old. Some of it will be coming from your first relationship. Some of it will be coming from every relationship in between. Some of it will be coming from your relationship with your parents. So you've thought a certain way for a long time. But we can change every single one. But you have to, one, become aware. Like, if I could ask you to take one thing away from this training that will change your life, it's becoming aware of when you're having a negative thought and getting skilled at doing something to change it very, very, very quickly. Asking questions like, is this thought serving me? No. Is being angry at that person making me feel better? No. Again, being angry. Being angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. They won't, you will. The only person anger affects is the anger person. The only person revenge affects is the person looking for revenge. If you're going to seek revenge, dig 2 graves. Control it, change it, control it, change it, catch it, change it, catch it, change it. Is the way I'm thinking serving me right now? Great question. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Is the way I'm thinking helping my life move forwards? So, as I said, think about how many times you've had a negative thought and you've let it spiral and it's ruined your day. I've done that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Thought about it when I got up, thought about it all day, had a terrible day, thought about it before bed, and had a really bad sleep because sleep and cortisol, stress hormone, don't mix, before repeating that again. Okay, we've all been there. But these thoughts can create stress, anxiety, frustration, and worry. Why? Because they're so powerful. But whatever we focus on will create how we are feeling. Now we go line in the sand, because it works exactly the same the other way, if you choose it to. Some people don't want to force themselves to think positively, because then they have to drop the bullshit story about why life's different for them. And it's easier to tell that story than take massive action towards the life that they want. But whatever you focus on will always create your feelings, because thoughts drive emotions and emotions drive actions. Thoughts, beliefs, behaviors and actions eventually will become a habit that will lead to your personal reality. Like I said, if you think you can't, you won't. Case closed. If you think you can, you will. Case closed. It's that simple. If you think you're not good enough, who are you going to show up as? Person who thinks they're not good enough. And again, this drills back down into, very often, I'm going off on a tangent here, but sometimes just focusing on the work, the massive action, the journey and the process, not the outcome. So this is one of the best analogies as well. If I wanted to ask a girl out, right? I have absolutely no control over whether she's going to say yes or no. That's what people fixate on. I'm just not going to ask her, because what if she does say no, and then she's going to tell all her mates and they're all going to laugh at me and it's going to destroy my confidence, and I just don't want to risk that horrible situation, so I'll just do nothing. Or you can do, I'm just going to treat this as a game. I'm going to walk over ballsy as fuck and I'm just going to do the thing. And irrelevant of whether it's a yes or a no, same with a job interview, right? Same with anything. I don't really care whether it's a yes or no, because I'm proud of me for doing the thing. Just like I don't know whether I'll ever get that villa, but I'm going to do the thing and be proud of myself anyway. So don't not do the thing or feel like you're a certain way or you can't have it because you're over obsessed on the outcome. This is why so many of you are struggling with your weight. Because despite the fact that I've told you 44,365 million times not to base yourself on what you weigh every single Sunday, you still jump on the fucking scales and it hasn't fucking moved, or it's only moved 1 pound and you go, oh, I'm not good enough, nothing ever works for me, I'm always going to be fat, Lee Freeman shit, my diet doesn't work, I need a new training plan, everything's bad. Because you just, rather than the health and the journey and the healthy eating and loving your body, respecting your body, valuing yourself, half the time you might have just needed a fucking poo. And if you'd had a poo, you probably would have weighed 2 pounds less. Yet you then let that negative thought, I'm back where I'm talking about, spiral your day, spiral your week. Control your thoughts, because what you think about, you will become. And as it's the most famous quote of all time, isn't it? Henry Ford. Either you think you can or you think you can't. Either way, you're right. And that will lead to the outcome. So the best part of this is that horrible day when you get up and you're like, oh, that thought, and you can't get it out of your head and it destroys your day. It works exactly the same the other day. So put post-it notes around your bed, telling yourself that you're a fucking warrior. Have visual reminders in your health. Meditate as soon as you get up. I will not touch my phone until whatever time when I put the message in for you guys, because that first hour is about me. That writing that post is part of my morning. Self-reflection, journaling, helping, growth, contribution. Not looking at Dave, who's got more money than me on Instagram. Not looking at John, who's got a better body. Not looking at X, who's in the same mentorship and has had 5 times the results that I have in the amount of time. That is what will create the negative thoughts. I focus on me, my life, what I want, and the massive action that I need to take towards it. And when you nail this, right, this is the law of attraction in its purest form. You'll be fucking unstoppable, because that positive thought can have the same effect as the negative thought. It can spiral in. You know those people that are annoyingly happy, annoyingly focused, annoyingly positive, to the level where sometimes you just think, well, you just fuck off with your energy because I don't need that today. That's all they do. But whatever we think about, the thoughts that we have will reflect the life that we live. So every morning you can set a reminder, an alarm. You might want to write it on a pad. You might want to have a reminder in your phone. You might want to, you do you. You know, everyone knows what works for them and it's not linear for each person. But we can choose to wake up and think positive, empowering, happy, confident thoughts. I am loved, I am enough, and I am worthy of all the success that's coming to me. Affirmations. Money is just a vehicle of exchange, nothing else, based on value. Money flows freely and easily to me for the greater good of all. Gratitude is nothing more than a feeling of abundance triggered by wealth. I am enough, I have enough. Or you can get up and say, I'm not good enough. It's a choice, right? But we have to train ourselves to have that choice. But this is the power of intention. One of my other favorite phrases is place your attention on your intention. Last week we did the training on clarity, right? If you're that person again watching this maybe this week who hasn't got clarity on what they want, hasn't got focus, doesn't know the life that they want to live, go back and watch that training, because it's a precursor to this one. Precursor, is that a word? So we have to get crystal clear on what it is that we want. Because again, we can't really channel these thoughts or this focus or this intention or placing this attention on our intention if we don't really know what we want. Because if we don't know what we want, then how do you know what to focus on? And if you don't know what you want and you haven't got anything to focus on, what are you going to focus on? You're going to go back to thinking transformation's a spectator sport. Scrolling, tits, arse, abs, cats playing the fucking piano, Netflix, what's going on in the world, cost of living, government, having that crap that's on the news. Because you're not focused on your life and what you want. So when you don't control your thoughts and make sure they are on what you want and the massive action that you need to take to get it, the world will fill your thoughts for you. The press, the media, other people, the people that want to drag you into their pity party at the bottom of the tree. Guess what? It's always pretty busy at the bottom of the mountain, isn't it? And the bottom of the tree, pretty quiet at the top. So when you focus your mind on what it is that you want, your thoughts will align with that intention. So this is why last week's training was so important. I can't focus my thoughts, which become my beliefs, which become my behaviors, which create my personal reality, on the thing that I want if I'm not clear on what it is. So again, as I said at the start of this training, don't make it wishy-washy. Make it big. Like, your goals should excite you into the middle of next week. And if they don't, it's probably why you're struggling. But not weak, wishful thinking. Total clarity, total focus. And what's big for you doesn't have to be big for someone else. You're big, maybe I just want to be the best role model possible to my kids. And I want to be the best husband or partner to my wife or partner, and always make them feel safe, secure, and loved. That's a big goal, and that's a goal most people don't have. It might be a monetary goal, a house, a villa, a material thing. And if it is, again, don't feel bad for it. There's so many douchebags online trying to make you feel like, funnily enough as well, that they're usually the people that have a lot of money, trying to make you feel bad for wanting money and nice cars and nice girls. It's all about realizing you already have enough. You're already enough as you are. You know, so they're sat in their £8 million mansion with their 7 Ferraris giving this advice. So again, whatever your thing is, your body, your goals, your mission, your business, your relationships, your big is your big. Right? You know what excites you, and it's going to be different for every single one of us. But whatever it is for you, get clear on it and make sure it's not what society thinks you should have in order to be happy. And when we have total clarity and we have total focus, that's when we can then get our attention on our intention. But we can't place our attention on something that we don't know what it is. And this is a big one, which I wrote down. I'm rapidly running out of time here. You should get your money's worth. The biggest thing that I see in a lot of people, lost my notes, is they focus on the results that they don't have. I could screenshot 10 check-ins for this week, and the total focus of the check-in is on the results that you don't have. But worst, the results that you believe you should have, with the work that, if you were truly honest, you haven't really done to the level that was needed to get those results. Exactly the same for me. It's what I journaled yesterday. Stop showing up at 65% and expecting 100%. It won't happen. You'll always be a perfect reflection of the work that you do or don't do. But even if you have ballsed up, and I would rate myself 6 out of 10 on average at best in the first quarter of this year. But focusing what I don't have or what I haven't achieved or what I believe I should have achieved with the work that if I'm truly honest, I haven't done the level that I need to get those results isn't ever going to make you feel good. That's not abundance, that's lack and scarcity. That's a decision, that's one thought, right? Am I going to focus on what I want and where I need to step up and improve to get it? Or am I going to whinge and cry like a fucking baby about what I don't have? Which one's going to make you feel good? Which one's going to make you feel inspired to do the work? Could be pushed by desperation or pulled by inspiration. Focusing on what you want and what you need to do to get after it is going to make you want to do the work. Focusing on what you don't have is going to make you operate from lack and feel like you're not good enough. So focus on what you want. Draw this line there now. Boom. Doesn't matter. Clap. Doesn't matter clap again. Doesn't matter what's happened before there. Doesn't matter. It's gone. No one gives a fuck. It's boring. Telling that story isn't going to serve you or your future. Focus on what you want today. Create the vision. Make sure it's sexy. Make sure it's big. Make sure it makes you feel excited and that you want to work towards it and take massive action towards it. Because when you know what the goal is, when you know what the vision is, when the second you get out of bed, you're focused on what you want and what you need to do to get it, your thoughts will align with that. Your behavior will align with that. And your thoughts will create your reality. Because when your thoughts are aligned with what you want and what you need to do to get it, they work for you. It's like they are on your team. Like you have an extra team member, like you have a squadron. You can have a squadron of thoughts working towards a mission, or you can have an enemy working the other way. But that will all come from that first thought and what we think about. But the world will always respond to our energy. The world will always respond to our thoughts, and it's not magic. Okay? It's also not easy, but it's the law of attraction in its purest form. So 3 steps. Define what you want, get clear on it. Focus on what you want every single day and take massive action towards it. I'm a big fan of the law of attraction, but it's worth sweet FA without taking massive action. That's almost a poem to leave you guys on. But it will always show up. What you think about will show up. Remember I told the story last week, if you're thinking about black Land Rover Defenders, if you sit here, right, for an hour, right, and you put a picture of a black Land Rover Defender on your screen and you think about it and you watch some videos and you just generally obsess over it for like an hour, then go and have a day out today. Try it. Guess what cars you'll see more of than anything in the world? Hand over heart, it will be black Land Rover Defenders. Because it's what your thoughts are focused on. You're not looking for any other cars. You're not even looking for white ones. You're looking for black ones. And whatever we channel these thoughts, like it's like the test when people do it, right? Everybody look at me now. Right, try really hard not to think about an elephant. Guarantee you every single one of you just thought about an elephant. Just from one simple prompt. So make that elephant your future. Make that black Land Rover Defender your future. And spend some time each morning, one, getting clear, and then just focusing on it. And it will just roll from there. But what the world gives you will always match your thoughts. And if we entertain negativity, we'll always get more of it. If we plant seeds of positivity, then we'll always get more of it. But the only real thing that will sabotage any of our success is thinking negative thoughts. And we're in control of that. And as I said, the main thing that I want you guys to take away from this is, one, it's not easy. And two, it's about, like, have fun with it, guys, as well. We're all a long time dead. So next time you have one, try and catch it. Oh, can anyone? Oh, it's gone. Screen time last week, 43 minutes per day. That's a world record for me. And guess what? I had a great week. You will always shape your reality through your thoughts. I can't simplify it any more than that. And what you think about, you will become. So if we want a different life and we want different results, then we have to think different thoughts. But in terms of having fun with it, before I got distracted by my screen time, just start to become aware. Right? Catch it and change it. And I mean this with love and respect as well. I'm always here to help and support you guys. But the next time you're about to complete a check-in and splurge out 5 paragraphs of negativity, stop, catch all of those negative thoughts, and think to yourself, is typing this all out going to make me feel happy, focused, driven, positive? Or am I just looking to vent? And could I possibly delete everything that I've just written because I've caught those negative thoughts, because I've learnt the skill from last week's training, and I can get a blank piece of paper out and I can actually look back on last week and I can start to focus on what I did do well, who did show up for me, the work that I did do, and I can catch every single thing that I've just splurged out because I wanted to vent, and I can rewrite that story, because that's catching the thoughts and changing it and rewriting it. And then when you rewrite it, everything is going to feel better, because the truth is, as I said at the beginning, your thoughts literally create your reality. That's all I've got for you.